So today I'm going to be talking about how to use illustrations and visuals in the field. So a few things I'm going to kind of use examples and go over is like species identification and how drawing can help you identify things, as well as if you have like a target species, having a drawing of it could help as well. If for some reason your technology fails as well, having a little bit of idea how to draw and how to remember things can also help you quite a bit in the field. So when you go back and you're analyzing your data and you didn't get all of the technology that you needed or the pictures that you needed, if you have a drawing and a few notes on it, you might be able to ID it that way as well. So it's a huge tool in helping you do that. Being able to draw a map as well is also really important in the field. You want to be able to get back to the site where you are. And if there's not a GPS marker or for some reason your technology fails, you want to have at least a datum or a compass bearing or some sort of thing in your notes that you can identify it without technology as well.
So one of the instances where drawing has really helped me with IDs is in plankton monitoring. So to ID stuff, we had a target few that we really wanted, that we had bookmarked in some books, but there's only one picture or so of each thing, and they're kind of blurry, so it was really hard to tell under a microscope what these things were with just the photos and just searching through books. So something that helped me is for all of our target species, like our target zooplankton, I drew a few things of how they might show up, and this just helped get it in my brain of, okay, these are the things you're looking for. With the descriptions, I also added how long they might be, and these are all approximations, so there's variability in each one of these, but it just helped for me get through and see what they were. And these are our target phytoplankton, little different, but drew all those out, and it was a huge help. I didn't really have to go out of my notebook unless it was something that wasn't a target species. For my actual field notes and our lab notes of when we're going over this is kind of what they look like, a general what was happening that day, and then I would tally up and identify each thing I saw. So this was very helpful in identifying species, especially when you're looking for the diversity in all of this. So drawing them was a huge help in me committing to memory what each thing was. So by the end of this, I could look at pretty much any microscope slide and say, oh, this was Alexandrium or something like that. So when I'm looking to identify things that weren't our target species, I kind of knew where in books to look, which was a huge help. So I highly recommend, if you're doing something like this where you have to identify a lot of critters, to just draw and just keep drawing. And it doesn't have to be perfect, especially with all of illustration. It just has to be something that you will remember and that you can look back on and say like, hey, this is the feature I remember, and this is also the description of it, and using that to identify it further and having the visual that you understand as well as a little description of what it was as well, you can do wonders. And it doesn't have to be perfect artwork. So say you're in the field and you needed to capture photos of this unknown flower. You don't know what it is, and it's your job to bring it back and identify it. But your camera doesn't work or something like that, and you have to draw it. So first, I would say mark it as unknown, flower 1, unknown flower 1, and then things to note. I would put how many petals are around here, and there would be 14 petals, and then one big round cone in the middle, black cone. And it's also important to note that these are yellow petals. Just those kind of descriptive things could be really helpful. And then you want to go about and drawing it. And when you draw it, you want to make sure that the petals, you're going to get the right amount here. Then once you have your sketch, you can come and look at this a little bit more. See how it's prominent on the top there? There's a little bit of up here, so it's about the size of half of my fingernail. So for this, then you can go to your drawing and say risen half of index fingernail. This just helps you get some markers. So your illustrations don't have to be perfect. They don't have to be the best thing ever, but you do want them to be something that you can remember and things that you can identify off of, just like the measurements and something like that. You can also look at the petals here and say, hey, they are from the tip of my thumb fingernail all the way down to the first crease in my thumb. So you can always put that too. So like with the petals, long as tip of thumbnail to first crease and thumb bend. Sorry about my writing and spelling, it's probably not on point right now, but just a little example of when you're drawing something, how to identify things and how to keep it in your brain. For me, the visuals are a huge help. For some, they can just remember right off of notes like this, but for me, having that visual, it just makes things go way faster. So just as a very quick map example, think of this is like my area, this is my target bush, this is my datum, or the one point that's not going to move. So this is a rock feature that's deep in within the earth and you don't expect it to move or be eaten or die. And then this is just another shrub. So the map I created looks like this. This only took about 2 minutes. So you can make this much prettier, especially if you're out in the field. But from this end on this side, the north to west side, was 15 paces across this area where how I measured it, and 10 paces this way. So the rock formation is in the middle here, this shrub is on the side here, and I measured it out so it's 3 paces long, and then this is our target shrub. And from the datum, or a rock feature that's not moving, say you forget where this was and you need to go back later, so it's 5 paces straight south from that datum, or that rock formation that won't move. So having some sort of aspect like this will help you find it later if the bush is gone or something like that.
So those are the main visuals I think will help you the most through all of this, and just a few tips on how to use them and where you could use them. So yeah, and thanks for listening.